Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the NYRA official podcast, episode 2. It is me, your host, Zane, and I am here with my friend Dani. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Dani. I'm 15. I'm very excited to be here.
That's good. That's good. So today we are going to be discussing runaway rights and like some other issues related to youth rights that kind of relate to both of our lives that we've kind of both had to deal with in the past and stuff like that. So basically, I want to start off with talking about the issues with runaway rights in general. If a kid is in a home that's where they're living and they go and they run off to like another home, their parent can literally just go and call the police on them and then report them as a runaway, and basically like it can get charges on the people that are like having them in their home and stuff like that. And it's a really big issue because when you think of kids running away, most of the time you think of a kid like running out into the street and like walking the streets with nowhere to go. But there's a lot of instances, it's actually more common where kids just, when they run away, technically, they go into another home, oftentimes where that home is safer than the home they reside in. But because that's not the home they reside in and the parents don't want them at that home, they can actually get the police involved with that against the people that are keeping them there. And then the people that are keeping them there they can get charged with harboring a runaway, and then they can face charges for that, which I think that's a big issue in my opinion. I don't really think that should be how the system works.
I think you're like completely right. Most kids, when they run away, it's to get away from situations in their own household. I'll say I've tried to do that. I don't think it's fair for kids to be able to run away and then their parents just call the cops and get that person in trouble.
Yeah, because a lot of times, I mean, I feel like if someone takes in a kid that's running away, because obviously the kid's running away from something, and it's a lot of the time it's a bad situation in their home
Exactly.
life. So it's like, if someone's taking that kid in, it's like they're trying to be there to help them. They think they're doing the right thing. So it's like those people shouldn't be punished. The kid shouldn't be punished for just trying to get out of a situation where they don't want to be in necessarily. Do you want to talk about, kind of the situations that led up to you wanting to do that in your own life?
Yeah, sure. I have a relatively troubled household. My mother isn't the nicest, and I have lots of family issues, lots of yelling, stuff that a normal kid wouldn't want to deal with on a daily basis. But it got to the point where so much stuff had happened in my house that was illegal that I had wanted to just get out. And it was kept under wraps in my house for so long. And I was told that I couldn't tell anybody about it and that I needed to keep it all to myself and that I couldn't talk to my friends about it or mostly the police. But I felt stuck, and no kid likes to feel stuck. So I obviously wanted to get out and I wanted to run away. I planned to. I had planned. My mother had put me in counseling for stuff that had happened with my dad and his wife. And I had told my counselor that I wanted to run away and that I didn't like living with my mother and that I just wanted out of her house. And my counselor was willing to help me, but there's not much one could do. I don't know. It's kind of like it's being involved in a crime, because if I were to run away, I would have to go to a friend's house or somebody that isn't family, but I'm close enough with. And I wouldn't want them to get in trouble. So I reached out to Zane for help. And he offered to help quite a bit. And he did a lot of research for me. And he helped me figure out ways that I could get out and like how to go about it instead of just running away and getting my friend's family in trouble.
Well, I feel like some of the biggest concerns, like, when I was doing research on that, is they say if anything bad happens, it's like, oh, the child isn't allowed to run away. If anything bad happens, they have to go through like the CPS system and stuff. And it's pretty fairly common knowledge that the CPS system just isn't a good system. And like I've known people, I know people that's like worked in that system before. and it's just like, CPS, foster care, that type of stuff isn't a good system. And they
No.
make it to where if a kid runs away and they go to like a friend's house or like a family member's house or something, and that family member or friend like keeps them there without reporting them to police, if like the parent goes and reports the fact that the kid is there to the police, then that person is like basically crossed off the list of where that kid can go once they get pulled into the CPS system. So it makes it really, really difficult for people who are struggling to, get out, because they can't just, because it's a lot of the time it's a big fear. It's like a big thing of, oh, I'm going to have to screw up my whole life of going to this system. And they'd much rather just go with someone that they know they'd be safe with instead of trying to go through a whole system. So it makes it to where their first thought is going with someone else, but then that person can end up getting in trouble once things hit the fan and everything gets reported. And I feel like that's
Right.
that's a big issue with kind of how the system is run.
Oh, I definitely agree. Like it's well known that CPS isn't great with helping kids get out of homes, and they don't place you in better places.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Like my sister was in foster care for I think 3 years, and the stories that she has told me at the ripe age of 8 is honestly insane to me.
What happened in there, if you want to talk about it?
She she was placed in a foster home with, I don't know, I can't remember how many people, but that she would tell me that they would constantly like deny feeding her like snacks and like water. If she wanted water, she'd have to ask. She couldn't just go and get water. Same thing with the bathroom. I don't know. There's quite a bit, but I can't really remember all of it.
Do you remember like what was like the one like worst thing that there was, or was it just a lot of general things like the bathroom stuff?
That and mostly that the people around her, like the adults and stuff, were really rude and not like nurturing, kind children. They were just like kind of pushing it off and just like disciplining and not taking care of their emotions and their feelings, and which I think is really important for a young child.
Yeah.
Is to really like make sure that they're understanding their own emotions.
Yeah. I mean, especially a kid who's in the foster care system, because they've obviously, gone through some screwed up situations. So it's like you got that kid is obviously going to need more like emotional support than like someone else. So it's like it's really important, especially for a foster care person, to like take that into consideration and make sure they're nurturing and caring rather than being overly strict and harsh.
Yeah, for sure.
So then it's like when you hear like the types of stories of what foster care systems are like, does that make you feel like you wouldn't want yourself to go through that?
It's, yeah. I personally wouldn't want to go through that, and I don't think anybody should have to go through that. It just doesn't seem like a place that helps at all. It, like, I struggle with a lot of emotional and, well, just pretty much just emotional, like trauma and stuff like that. And I feel like being in a place where they're not nice and they yell and like they're not treating you well, I feel like that would personally push me down, and it would make a lot of my issues worse. So, like, going with a friend and living with her and her parents, I feel like that would be a lot better, because these people know me. These people know how I feel, and like they ask me how I feel, and they don't just yell at me. So, like, I feel like that's a lot safer than going to a foster home.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, you'd be more comfortable with like a friend's family or something. But a lot of the times, it's like CPS and foster care, they don't consider that type of stuff. They consider like they consider like the immediate family members. So it's like they'd put you with like your
A dad
dad, yeah, like
or your aunt.
your dad, for example. And like if you want to talk about how that's even worse, like
Oh yeah, there's a lot of issues at my dad's house. I went through his wife was emotionally abusive towards me and my dad and my younger sister, and I chose to stop going over there. I stopped talking to my dad, and I refused to go over there because of how she was treating me. That situation isn't any better than my mother's house.
mm-hmm.
So I definitely don't think that going there would be the best option for me.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
same thing with like my grandparents and stuff like that.
Yeah, because a lot of the time it's like if someone's a family, like immediate family, is abusive or just like bad or like not good with kids, it's like a lot of the time that's going to apply to the other people in the immediate family as well.
Right. And I will say that my family is like really, really close to each other. And like, I mean, like physically and just like all together, they're a close family.
Mm-hmm.
And they like to spend time together. So my mom and my grandmother live like 20 minutes away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big deal. But I know that if I was placed with my grandmother, my mother would just show up all the time.
Yeah. And that'd be a big problem, considering the whole reason is you're trying to get away from her.
Right.
You wouldn't want her just like rolling up there out of nowhere. So it'd be better. Yeah, it'd be better if you like stay with like a friend or something. But a lot of the times that's not what CPS tries to do immediately.
Yeah, because like it. When I think about it, like when I think about staying with a friend, it's like, oh, they're two teenage girls. They're gonna fuck off. They're gonna like go and do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not gonna maintain good grades. They're not gonna get jobs, stuff like that. Like that's kind of what I think about. But for me personally, that would be the better option because I could get a job. I could go to school and I could get better grades. And I will say I maintain really high grades all the time. I try really hard in school because I have goals. I've got goals.
Mm-hmm. Do you wanna talk about how your mom has like kind of made your schooling and your work situation like really difficult and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, no, of course. I got pulled out of public school when I was in 4th grade.
Because your mom. Because your mom?
Yeah, my mom. Well, actually, I guess it was kind of because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But like, my principal was really rude to my mom because like my principal had called CPS on my mom 3 different times, and nothing happened. And my principal just didn't like my mother, and they just didn't like each other. And so when the pandemic started, my mom had a good reason to pull me and my brother out of school. And my brother was also getting bullied pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of reasons to pull us out. But I will like staying in homeschool from 4th grade to 11th is honestly insane.
Mm-hmm. Do you wanna talk about why the principal called CPS on your mom when you were in public school?
Sure. When I think I was 7. I don't know. I think I was 7 around the time where she got like the principal was calling CPS.
Mm-hmm.
But I was coming to school really distraught and like really in my own little world and not paying attention, and not participating in class. And when you're that young, a lot of the grade for your classes are participation.
Yeah.
So like I was failing. I was failing a lot of my classes. And my principal pulled me out with a counselor, and they were I was asked what was happening and why I wasn't paying attention. And at the time I was having home issues. I had my mom had brought in this guy, and he did some really terrible things to my brother and I. And that was really, like, that really affected young me.
Of course.
As it with any child, it was something that I never wanted to see anybody else go through because it sucked.
Yeah.
And I lived around that for the longest time. But my counselor had asked me, she's like, what's going on at home? Like, how's your home life? What's going on with your mom and your dad? Because I was pushed around back as a child. Like, I would go back and forth between my parents' house.
Yeah.
And I was a really aggressive kid. I would fight and I would yell and, like, be mean to everybody. When my teacher asked me, or my counselor asked me, like, what's going on at home, and I told her that this guy that was living with us did stuff to my brother and I, that was a cause to call CPS.
Yeah.
So they called CPS. But by the time CPS actually picked up the case and showed up at my house, the guy was gone because my mother had kicked him out. And, like, to this day, I have no clue why they kicked him out. But she did. And then nothing was ever made of that. And then
So even after they showed up and the guy wasn't there, even though they knew, like, what you were saying, they didn't, like, pursue it and, like, investigate or try to find the guy or anything?
No. It took them almost 9 years to open back up the case, and actually look for the guy and investigate on the guy.
Seriously? So how old were you when they picked back up the case?
I was 15.
Wow.
This happened a few months ago.
They just didn't really, like, care about it then, or what?
I'm not really sure. I wouldn't say that it's not really caring about it, but it's like he wasn't there, so it wasn't going to happen again, you know?
Yeah. So their thought was, oh yeah, she's fine now, not like, oh, we should go, like, try to pursue this and try to investigate it.
Pretty much, I would assume.
Yeah. That's kind of, I mean, that's on them, because it's like that guy could still be a threat. I mean, even if he's not at your house, he could be doing stuff to, like, other people and things. So that's kind of a bad way for them to go about it.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I think too.
We kind of got off topic. So back with no, that's fine. Back with you being back with, like, your mom kind of, like, making it harder for you to do school and, like, work and stuff. Like,
oh yes, I am not allowed to get a job. And, like, I want to work. I want to get a job. I want to be able to, like, buy my own stuff and get my car, pay for insurance and stuff like that. Like, I want to. It's a sense of wanting to be independent, I suppose, but I can't, because every time I try to bring up getting a job, my mom's like, oh, well, you need your driver's license first. But my mom's not willing to put in the time or the money to help me get my driver's license. So I can't get that, and if I can't get that, I can't get a job. Because I need some form of identification, and I don't even have a school ID because I don't go to school. Yeah. So that's really hard. And I had a job. I had a job at my mom's work, and she's a personal assistant. So I would help her boss with all kinds of things, like cleaning, like anything that he really needed help with and my mom couldn't do, I was helping with. I got paid. I got paid, and it got to the point where I was getting paid so much that I needed a bank account. I couldn't just take it in cash. Yeah. So my mom started my brother and I bank accounts. But when either of us got paid, because at the time Sarah had a job too. If either of us got paid, she would put the money in our accounts and then change it over to hers. So she'd basically just be taking all the money that you got from working. Yeah, and let me tell you, like, how she would justify this was, I need the money to pay the bill, or I need the money to pay the mortgage, or I need money to buy you guys food. Like, I'm working so hard, I'm not getting enough money, and the money that you guys are making are helping me feed you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And half the time, she refused to actually buy us food.
So where was the money going?
To alcohol and other substances.
That's always what they do. It's like they value like alcohol, drugs, those other substances more than their kids, and then they like gaslight the kids into acting like, oh, this is to help you.
I'm doing all of this for a year.
Yeah, but it's obviously not, because you know where that money is going. You know it's not helping you. Like, she just wants it all for herself and for her own issues instead of.
And my dad pays child support. I think it's like $300 a month. Last time I checked.
Yeah.
Nothing too big, because my dad doesn't make quite a bit of money. But I would ask my mom, like, hey, can we go out and get a snack? Like, my dad just paid his child support. Can I go get a snack? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Your dad hasn't paid his child support.
So she's just lying straight to your face about it?
Pretty much, because like my dad would show me when he would pay his child support.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was with him when he usually paid his child support.
Yeah.
So he would show me, so I knew that I was getting the money, because I brought it up to him that my mom wasn't buying us food with the child support money like she said she had been.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, if she tries to do that again, you'll know that I did pay the child support, because it's been like this game of like my mom trying to put me against my dad for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I will say my dad's not the best, but I love my dad, and my dad he doesn't treat me bad. He cheated on my mom when they were in like middle school, like something you could easily get over if you're in middle school.
Yeah.
I will say getting cheated on sucks, and like, yeah, that was a shit move. But you were in middle school, gang. You can't hold that grudge against the father of your child the whole time.
Yeah, like that was forever ago. Like, that's not really even relevant anymore.
That was like 50 years ago. Come on.
Yeah.
But like, he would pay his child support, and I'd know.
Mm-hmm.
And she would have refused, and like, she refused to like buy us water if we needed water, and she was working. If she was busy working, and we'd be like, Mom, we're hungry. She'd be like, no, I don't get it.
It's like that clip from The Croods.
Yes, but yeah, that was.
So it's like all y'all's money, because she was working, and then you and your brother are working, but because she had access to the bank accounts, she could just take all the money from both of you, and then say that it's going to food, and say that it's going to things that y'all need, but then it wasn't, because you weren't getting anything more than you were before, and then she was just getting more alcohol and whatever else she was spending it on.
Yeah, and I will say that my mom got her medical marijuana card, so my dad can take her to court for her smoking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, because they used to use that against my mom all the time.
Yeah.
That she smoked marijuana, blah, blah. So she got her medical marijuana card. And the only reason she did it was because she knew that my dad could take her to court for it.
Yeah.
Since I stopped going over to my dad still hasn't stopped paying child support or anything. But, like, he doesn't pay it in full like he used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he knows that I'm still struggling with, like, getting actual food, because there's times that I don't actually eat. I can't, because when my mother goes to the store, she buys stuff for her that she can eat because she's got diabetes and she's pregnant, blah, blah, blah. So she buys food for her, and then it leaves my brother and I with nothing. And, like, barely anything to eat in the house. And it got to the point where my friends were ordering me, like, ramen offline and sending it to my fucking house so I could actually have something to eat. And at one point, I got sent canned tamale to get some nutrients in my diet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that was recent. I'm sorry. That was like last week.
Dang. So it's like she's just it's like she obviously doesn't care about how things are for her kids. She doesn't care about that. She would just rather take all your money and then proceed to still not let you get a job afterwards. After she takes your money, she's like, actually, now I'm not allowed to get a job anymore.
Yeah, because she told my boss that I didn't need the job anymore, and that he could let me go, and that he didn't have to pay me anymore. So I got fired because my mom didn't need it anymore. She didn't need me to work anymore. So she took my money, took my job, and then won't let me work.
So it wasn't your choice. You didn't go to your boss and say anything about wanting to leave. She just said it without you being there, and then he fired you?
Yeah, because I had went out, not like on a date, but I was with a friend, like a guy friend, and I was out for lunch, and like I get back, I was on my lunch break, and I needed to be back by like 11 because I had work to do. I had stuff to do for school, and then I had work.
Yeah.
And so like I needed to be back before a certain time.
Yeah.
And my friend was okay with that. But I got back to work, and my boss was like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Like, you don't have to work anymore." I was like, "What do you mean? I'm scheduled for today. I'm working today." And he's like, "Nah, your mom said that you didn't need the job anymore, so I took you off the checklist." I was like,
so did you
what?
Did you try to like be like, no, I still need? Did you try to get back on, or like did you not care?
I did try. I tried. I was like, I really need this job. Like, I don't care what my mom said. I need this job. I need the money. And he's like, I can't go against your mom. Like, I really can't go against your mom. And it's like, I'm pretty sure I spent like 25 minutes begging this man for my job.
Oh.
And he just couldn't give it back to me. So I'm out of money, out of a job, no car, no way to leave. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
and like running away from my house, like I have a plan. I have this big plan, right? And like you would think that you need a car and money to run. You need all that stuff to get out.
Yeah.
But all of that I don't have because of my mother. Like, my mother has just stripped me of any responsibility that I may have had, which really, really sucks. Because she doesn't know that I'm trying to run away. She doesn't know. But yet she still chose to take my money, take my job, and just like be like, no, you can't work anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous that she's even allowed to do that, that your employer is forced to remove you just because they just want to go against your mom. It's insane that like that your mom has the like, you know, the legal authority to just like take you out of your job without your permission.
Right. And I think it's absolutely insane. I don't think that should be okay.
Yeah.
But
and then on top of that, like the thing about your money, it's like because of the fact that kids can't get their own bank accounts that they have legal control over, like there has to be a guardian on it. It's like the parents can just take all of the money from the kid, and then like the kid has no authority to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous how that's even the case, because like most major banking like brand, they don't allow kids to, you know, have their own bank accounts. Like it has to be a guardian on it. And you know, in my life, a similar thing happened. I had like $6,000 in my bank account that I had from like 2 years of working. I got in an argument with my dad on a vacation, and as a punishment, quote unquote, he went into my bank account and took out all my money and just stole it. Like just straight up, just like your mom did to you. And it's like, we couldn't even really fight that in court because since he's on the bank account legally, like technically, just like the same thing with your mom, like they're legally allowed to do that. Like they're legally allowed to literally rob you of your labor, of like the hours that you've put into working and like the hours that I've put into working. It's like you could just be robbed like out of nowhere. And then you can't really fight it because they like are just allowed to do it. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane that that's just the way that things work. That's just acceptable. That you can't fight it.
It really sucks not having money because like there's things that I need to do. Like, I offered to get a job, pay for my insurance for my car, and then pay for a driving school, and pay to buy my own car.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't because my mother took my job, and she like as soon as my final paycheck hit, she went into my bank account, took my money out, and spent it, all of it.
On what?
I have no clue actually. Like random shit. I'm assuming that she put it on her credit card.
Mm-hmm.
So gas or like food for her, food that she only could eat.
Yeah.
I brought that to her attention multiple times. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, it's just insane that she can just straight up take your money, wipe your bank account. How much money was in there when she wiped it?
I think over $2,000. I had just made a shit ton of money because I was working full hours.
Wow. Yeah. No, yeah, that's awful that she can just rob that from you immediately.
And I will say $2,000 is like the most money I have ever like made or had.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really fucking proud of myself because I had worked full hours all week and I had made that much money by myself.
Mm-hmm.
With no help. I had made all of that by hard work, and it was taken.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart. I cried for like 3 hours that night.
Yeah, no, it's awful, and it just feels like such a violation of your rights that it's like you worked for that money, you put in hours of your work, not hers. It was your work to your job,
right?
And then it's just like you have no right to all of the money that you've made. It's like all of that hard work is just wasted, and you can't do anything about it. It's insane how that's a system that we allowed to perpetuate within our society.
Right, and like it sucks to know that like other people go through that too, because I know a lot of people go through this, and I know that other people have like really shitty parents.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know. It's always something that you can get through.
Yeah. But I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. And that, that brings us back to our original topic of like running away and stuff. It's like a lot of the times when stuff like that happens, it kind of feels like this is the only way out. Like, I'm oppressed. I'm not allowed to get a job. When I do get a job, when I do work, all the money gets taken away. It's like, yeah, I can't have anything. It's like,
that is the main reason I wanted to run away. Or yeah. I want to run away.
Yeah, of course. Because it's like, you just feel like you're stuck. Like, you can't move up in the world. You can't, put that money into, like, the driving school or your insurance or a car or something like that. Like, you can't progress forward in your life because of the hindrance that your mom has put upon you by, like, robbing you and refusing to contribute to your life with the money that she has.
Yeah, and, like, we've talked about this, but, like, it's genuine. It got to such a point that I felt stuck. Like, I couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so bad that I was just over everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to people. I didn't care to speak. I didn't care to clean. I didn't care about anything. I wanted to stay to myself and just keep my head down until I could get out.
Mm-hmm.
Until I was 18, until I could move.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was you or my counselor that, like, opposed the idea of going to a friend's house and, like, running away, like, moving at 16. Like, leaving.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good idea in theory, but it's just the issue is if you just pack your shit and you leave and you go to a friend's house, it's like if your mom decides to like call the cops on you and be like, "Oh, she ran away, she's staying here." The cops can just roll up and say you were a runaway, charge your friend's family with harboring a runaway, and then you'll be forced to go back with your mom.
Yeah, and that's definitely not what I want at all.
Yeah.
Like that's why we have that plan of filing a case.
Yeah,
because I will say that I have police officers working with me to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like my friend that I want to go live with, and that like we've talked about, her grandfather has offered to help me out.
Mm-hmm.
And like help me report that and help me get a case filed so I could get out.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm forever thankful for that, because like he didn't have to help me. He doesn't have to like almost get in trouble for like having a runaway in his home.
Mm-hmm.
But he's willing to help me put in a report so I can get out of this house.
Yeah, and it's really good that you have that ability and you have people that will help you. But the sad part is, I mean, like a lot of people don't. Like a lot of people who are in similar situations to you, they don't have a way out.
That.
Yeah. And they're scared about reports. They're scared about CPS. They're scared about foster care systems. They're intimidated because it's an intimidating thing. It's an intimidating thing to, have to have
it really is.
Like the government like in control of this situation, basically,
Right. And as a kid, that's not something that you want to have to be like responsible to do. Like you're like 15 and you gotta go and report your parents for neglect and abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's terrifying. It's traumatizing. Like nobody has to want to do that. Like
yeah.
That feeling when your mom sends you into like a gas station for the first time by yourself to get stuff for her, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Because
like right then you're defending for your own. Like you're doing stuff on your own and being responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. And then also, I mean, like with what a lot of people know about like the CPS system and the foster care system, is like, that it's a common thing that people know that it's not the best system. So when a lot of kids see that of like, oh, I'm living in a really bad house right now, but if I report what's going on and I go into a CPS foster care situation, who knows? It could be worse. Like,
right.
So that's why runaways having rights is such an important thing to me. And I feel like at least the right to just pick a home and stay with it. And, I feel like an ideal law that I think that would be the most beneficial is making it to where parents do not have the right to call the police and report their kids as a runaway if the place that the kids are staying at is can get all their basic needs met, like including school and everything. B is where the kids want to be, like if they prefer staying there rather than the parents. And C, if there's not a safety issue, like if there's not like a criminal living at that house or something like that. So if like there's no issues to the kid's safety, all their basic needs, including being able to go to school, is met, and the kid prefers to stay there, like the parents shouldn't be able to just say that kid's a runaway and get them taken back. And I feel like that ideally makes it to where kids would be more empowered to go to safer homes where they feel that they're safe. And they wouldn't have to feel that like intimidating factor of, oh no, I'm getting caught up in this whole government CPS type situation. That's scary. That's scary to them. So, I feel like it would empower a lot more kids to speak up and get out of abusive homes, while also making it to where the abusive parents that are the source of the problems can't, try to steal them back.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I get, like, why a lot of runaways don't have rights, because, like, sometimes runaways do just, like, run away because, like, maybe they they like somebody older and their parents don't approve. Like,
Mhm.
I get them, but like, I don't think it's fair to kids that are actually in shitty situations that need to get out.
Yeah, I feel like the vulnerable people are the ones who need to be protected by runaway rights. Like, obviously, people argue against runaways having rights, and they argue against, if you know, a few reasons. One of the reasons that I hear is like, oh, what if the kid just runs out into the streets? And then it's like, okay, well, you know, the law that I was talking about, that would only affect it. But if they're in a home where they're safe and their needs are met and they prefer to be there, it's like there shouldn't be any problem with that. Like, some people say they're like, oh, well, if we give them rights to do that, then what if like they're just mad at their parent because their parent like took their phone away and they go run away to another house and it's like, oh, their needs are met and they're safe, so it's like then they're legally allowed to be there. And it like, you know, my response to that is like, so what? You know, like I feel like it's more important to protect the rights of vulnerable kids in the situation like yours, in the situation like so many others, that it's like you're going to have to make it to where, like, by proxy, a kid who gets his phone taken away can run to another house and the parents can't, like, get police to drag him out and bring him back home. It's like, yeah, like, so what? Like, I feel like the kids in the vulnerable situations is so much bigger of an issue than these little mini issues that people like to bring up when they talk about runaways.
Yeah. And like, I feel like I would get that point of it too, because like, kids do get mad at their parents. Kids do like, I'm gonna fucking run away. I hate you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And like, it does happen. It happens a lot. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been like, oh, you took my PS3 away. I'm gonna run away. Like, I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
Then,
but it's like those
issues. Pack your shit and then like make it halfway out the door.
Yeah, but it's like those issues, those are nothing in comparison to like the actual big, like the big issues with like the vulnerable children, like you and like so many other people that are like actually in these abusive homes where they would rather run to a friend's home or run to another family member's home than, you know, go through a CPS case or something where where it's uncertain about what would happen to them and where it's scary and intimidating. And I feel like protecting those kids is so much more important than protecting like the parent who may not be abusive, but it's like the kid ran away because they were mad. Like, I just feel like in terms of like the scale of the issues, one is so much worse that it's like we need these laws in place to protect them.
Yeah. And like, I get that. I do. And like, I don't know. I feel like in a certain point, like if the parent isn't abusive, then yeah, the kid really shouldn't like not be allowed to be brought back home. Because at the end of the day, if you're just mad at your parents, you're going to forgive them.
Yeah. And that should be a civil issue. That should be an issue between the kid, the parent, and the home, and the, like, you know, the people that they're staying with. That should be a civil issue. That shouldn't be like, oh, I'm calling the cops on you for running away. Let's get the people you're staying with arrested for harboring a runaway, and let's get you dragged back to your house. Because, like, a lot of parents think like that. A lot of parents, instead of, you know, talking out the issue and trying to come to a civil conclusion, they're like, oh, I own you. You're my property. You're not allowed to disobey me. I want to, you know, use all my authority that I have to solve the situation.
That's kind of how my mom is, like, with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, my mom's really strict about some things and really not strict about the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say like I wanted to go to a friend's house for Halloween, because I did. I wanted to go watch movies with a few of my friends. 2 of them were boys and 3 of them were girls.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. And it's something that most kids are like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'm not gonna do anything wrong with them, right? But like, my mom thought, like, when I asked her about it, she was like, oh no, I don't want you to like, I don't know how to say this, but like, I don't want you to go fuck this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, they think of it like that, and then kids don't think about it like that. So the kids just end up getting mad at the parent, and then like, be like, fuck, fucking hate that bitch. I want to run away.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I feel like, I don't feel like that's like a legitimate reason, your parents to call the cops. Like, that's,
I mean, that's an issue that needs to be working out within the home. That's not an issue that needs like other involvement from other authorities.
Right.
So, like, situations like that, like, oh, if a kid runs away because of something like that, it's like, okay, whatever, they'll sit and chill at the other house for a little bit. The parents should figure out, like, talk with them about the issue, and then everything will be worked out, rather than, like, getting other people involved, at least.
Yeah. And I feel like in some situations, the police kind of do need to get involved. And, like, not specifically on the runaway rights thing, but, when certain things in the home happen and then your parents are like, you can't tell cops.
Well,
like,
yeah, obviously, that's completely different than, some of the things we were talking about. Like, of course, because that's to protect the child. Like, if the police, that should be where the police are getting involved, if it's to protect the kid. But I was just thinking in these terms of, like, if a kid runs away to another house where they're safe, it's like, the police shouldn't really have any authority to, like, remove them from that home, or, like, press charges against the people that are harboring them.
Right.
And if, like, the parent wants to take that kid back into the home and the kid says no, it's like, the parent, like, that should be the end of it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the parent shouldn't get police on their side to be like, oh, we're going to come drag you out kicking and screaming. Like, at that point, it's like, no.
I feel like if kids say no when, if their parents do call the cops and they do get dragged home and the kid says, no, I can't, I'm scared to go back. If the kid is, like, genuinely terrified to go back to their house, I feel like that is a, like, really big fucking sign that you shouldn't put that kid back in that home.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you need to, like, you take the kid's concerns seriously. And, like, even if the parent says one thing about, little Timmy ran away because I took his PlayStation, but then the kid's like, no, I don't, like, please don't put me back in that house. It's like, obviously that there's something else, more of an issue going on there.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just the fucking PS4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like detectives and cops should definitely take into more consideration about, like, how the child is feeling when they do try to take the kid back home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's definitely a sign when the kid is terrified.
Yeah, and even if the kid, because a lot of the times when the kids don't want to talk about, if they're in an abusive situation, a lot of times they don't want to talk about it. Like, they don't want to do something like that.
They don't want to put their parents in, like, this situation that's like, if this doesn't go the way it's supposed to, it's going to end up badly on me.
Yeah,
like,
so it's like they want to be out of where they are, but like I was saying with the foster care and the CPS, it's a really big issue. It's really intimidating to them. So they'd rather just be in another home, but they may not go to a police officer and be like, hey, I'm being abused, or hey, this happened, or hey, that happened. They may just want to go. They may just want to be out. And then if the parent is like, oh, yeah, this is a runaway, and the cops come and they take him back to the house, and the kid doesn't say anything about the abuse that they're living in, then they're just forced to go back with it. They're just forced to live back through that. So that's why, I feel like the runaway rights would be important to, make it to where the kids aren't forced to go back into that home, even if they didn't necessarily say anything about abuse or something that would trigger an investigation.
I feel like, yeah, you're right. They shouldn't be forced to go back, but I feel like they should be at least asked, questioned about, what's going on at home? Why don't you want to go back? Like, what's going on at home that is making you scared to go back home?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that should happen.
Because I think there's no legitimate reason for a child to be scared to go back to their own home.
Yeah, of course. And especially, when it comes into cases of, runaway and stuff like that, especially if it's a really controlling parent they're running away from, if the kid actually makes that leap to leave, and then they get thrown back in there because they get reported as a runaway and they get thrown back to that home, what do you think the parent's going to do as soon as that kid comes back? It's like, they're going to be so much worse. They're going to be so much worse in the way they treat that kid.
Exactly. And that has happened quite a bit to me. I have tried to leave. I've tried to go live with my dad. I've tried to get out of my mom's house multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And every time it didn't work. And every time I came back or I was forced to come back, everything got worse.
Yeah.
She would beat the fuck out of me. Like, she would scream at me. It's this whole thing that no kid wants to go through, but all of the kids know that it's going to happen if it doesn't end up working.
Yeah.
So you're just sitting there living in fear. Like, if this doesn't go as planned, I'm fucked.
Yeah, basically. So it's like a lot of the times the only way the kids can avoid that is by going through that CPS system or by something like that. But like you've even brought up, I mean, with CPS in the past, like you've said that like a lot of the times like they wouldn't even go through with investigations, like they wouldn't even do anything else with it immediately. So it's like, how can a kid trust that system? How can they trust that that system is going to look out for their best interest and not just throw them back in the home that they were running from?
Right. And like, that's terrifying to me. Because like, since I'm trying to run away as well, it's like, it's definitely a thought that like lives in the back of my mind. Like, fuck, this might happen.
Yeah.
Because it's been before.
And
it's terrifying. And like, nobody should have to go through that.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like definitely the CPS system, the foster care system, all of that needs to be reformed to like work in the best interest of the child. Because, my mom worked in CPS for a while, and she would tell me about how if the child isn't under like a direct threat, but like there may have been abuse like in the past, it's like certain times CPS will try to be like, oh, let's try to reunify them together. And that was the same thing that happened with my dad when there was a huge custody issue with my dad after, he robbed me, he stole my money, he did all this types of things, and we filed a case about it. The first thing the court did was, oh, let's put them in reunification therapy. It's like, let's make it to where they can live together. But it's like, no, realistically, a lot of these times, like, you don't want to be around the people who have mistreated you, and they're trying to gaslight you into, oh, let's make everything happy again. Let's sunshine and rainbows. Let's make you love each other again. But it's like, no, that shouldn't be the first.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that shouldn't be the first response. Because, a lot of the times the parents are going to be like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And then they'll go through it. And then the CPS will be like, oh, yeah, look, they're good again. They're not going to hurt you again. You put the kid back in, the same exact thing happens. Right? So it's like, it's like they're trying to like gaslight these children into acting like they're okay with the situation when they're really not. And it's like harmful to them. It's harmful to them to feel like the system is working to protect the people abusing them rather than the victims.
Right. And I feel like that's really fucked up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, definitely, I've never been through a CPS system personally, but when I've been through certain custody issues of where I didn't want to be around my dad because of the way he was treating me, where they had proof of the way he was treating me, their first concern was, oh, let's make it to where we put them back together, rather than, oh, let's protect this kid from someone who's, working to harm them. And, that's definitely a concern with that system. And I feel like the entire system just needs to be reformed to benefit the kids more.
Honestly, me too. Yeah. Because, like, I think right now it's mostly focused around the family instead of the child.
Yeah. I mean, especially in where we are, because we're both in Texas. So they always have these bills and stuff about like, oh, family rights, parent rights, keep the government out of the parents' lives, keep the government out of the family. And it's like, I'm very anti-government control over things. But realistically, sometimes the government has to step in and protect the kids, because the kids aren't being protected by anything. Like, the kids don't have laws protecting their rights and freedoms. They don't have laws. They don't have civil rights, basically. We really don't. The only civil rights that a kid has is by going through the government. The only right that a kid has to run away is by going through the government, Like, so unfortunately, it's an unfortunate fact that the government has to get involved with this. And I would prefer if the government didn't have to be involved at all. I would prefer if there were just simple civil rights for youth that, hey, I can run away from my parent, and as long as I'm in a house where I'm safe, the government can't put me back in. Like, that's what I think would be better, where the government didn't have to be involved. But a lot of the times, like, kids have to go through the government if they're going to do this. So when then Texas passes laws about, like, oh, making sure parents can make all the decisions for kids, or making sure the government stays out of the family and stuff like that, it's like, they do it under the guise of, oh, parental rights, but it's
They think they're
really
helping.
they
They
it,
think they're helping.
yeah, they act like they're helping. They know they just want to give parents more overbearing control of kids, and the only thing that is going to do is harm vulnerable kids.
Right, and that's never the way to go.
Yeah.
At all.
So, we've talked about, a lot of runaway rights issues and a lot of, like, these types of things about, the system and how that impacts youth and everything. And I just want to kind of end off by saying that I definitely think that these systems need to be reformed to empower civil rights for youth and also make it to where the government's main goal is protecting the child rather than, trying to reunify homes together. And that's kind of what I want to leave off on, because there are situations like you just heard, like with Dani's situation. There are situations where these things are huge issues where kids' rights and freedoms are just getting completely trampled on, and it's such a huge problem, and it's so rampant within our society, and I feel like there's not enough things to protect them from that. But that's kind of where I am on the matter. Do you want to say anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
That's good. We'll get this uploaded sometime. If y'all want to check out the rest of our podcast episodes, you can. If you want to check out our blogs, you can. If you want to become a member of the National Youth Rights Association, shoot us an email, nyra@youthrights.org, and you can become a member. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.